Good morning, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning in today. My name is Norfolk CPA. Before we get started, make sure that you, like this video and subscribe. I am excited that we have a very special guest in the building today. We have a IRS tax problem solver. She is an enrolled agent and her name is Kismet Madison. Welcome. Thank
Hello.
you for being with us.
Hello, hello.
So let's just jump right into it, Kismet. So
Sure.
first, you are a tax problem solver. Is that a true statement?
Yes, it is. I've been doing taxes for over 20 years, and I've been an enrolled agent for about six of those.
Okay. Now, what I found when just talking to people, people are very familiar with what a CPA is. A lot of folks, when you say the word enrolled agent, a lot of folks don't even know what an enrolled agent is. So, can you shed some light to us? What is an enrolled agent? How do you get it? Uh, yeah.
Sure. So, an enrolled agent is someone who has taken competency tests with the IRS, and the IRS has said, okay, you can represent taxpayers before us. So, that means that I can help anybody wherever they're at with whatever their tax situations are, whether they're in Virginia, Florida, Spain, what have you. And I have to, in order to keep that designation, I have to do 72 hours of continuing education every 3 years, with six of those hours being ethics. So it's you got to stay current with the IRS. You have to make sure that your taxes are filed on time and
Right.
you're in compliance in order to maintain this status.
Okay. So what drew you to actually go the direction of, hey, I'm going to get my enrolled agent designation? What motivated you?
I like helping people. And so there was only so much I could do with, the 8821. I could just get information. I couldn't actually help them resolve any of their major issues. So I wanted to take it a step further and be able to
Mhm.
help people that are dealing with audits and uh, non-compliance issues and sometimes offering compromises. So I just like helping people. So I wanted to take that extra step. And the next step is
Mhm.
to get the certification so that I can actually go to tax court. That's
Ooh.
the next one I'm working on. There's a class, 18-month class for tax attorneys, enrolled agents, where we can go take the course and then we can actually go into tax court and represent clients.
Oh
That's the
wow.
next step.
So you have a desire to go to actual tax court.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I did bankruptcy for 15 years. So the court and the judges and trustees, they don't scare me at all. I have that legal background there. So it just makes sense to take the next step and be able to fully help my clients all the way through the process.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that you had the background in bankruptcy, so I definitely want to touch on that. You mentioned one thing. You said there's only so much did you say the 8821 can do? What did you mean by that? What is that?
So the 8821 is an IRS form that a person can use and to get information. So with that, you can call and you can get information on whether they owe money. Um, you can get some tax records for the taxpayer, but you can't actually represent, you can't actually try to resolve the issue. You can only get some information. Being
Right.
an enrolled agent, I can do another form where I can actually represent the client, speak on their behalf, attend the audit for them, write letters on their behalf, get copies of the correspondence. So it just allowed me to do more.
Right. And that form I presume that you were speaking of would be the IRS power of attorney form 2848, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, the one thing that that I think is a good thing is you can now, as a practitioner, whether you're a CPA attorney or enrolled agent, you can now just go into your IRS account plug in all the information that you would typically have to manually type or write out on the 2848 and shoot it electronically, and then just ask the taxpayer to accept the digital version of this. Have you
That
been utilizing that, and how has that changed?
no, I haven't, because the first thing we have to do as tax professionals is educate people on the importance of having an IRS account set up. That only works if they have the IRS account set up. And a lot of the people that I help are older people or people that aren't computer savvy.
Okay.
So, still doing the paper, and I do submit it electronically to the IRS through their portal now, which makes it a little faster than, faxing it like we had to do before. But my goal in recent years, in the last 2 years, has really been to get all of my clients set up with that free IRS online account. So then we can start utilizing those things more frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that it's very beneficial and useful when the clients actually do set up this IRS account, because then they can, a lot of questions that they may ask you, or a lot of times they're missing W-2s, 1099.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually just go in there and they can, what are some of the ways, what can they pull up when they actually go
So
into
when they get their IRS account, when they sign up for it, they can see their tax records, so they can see if the tax return was actually filed or not. I just had a conversation with a person yesterday, and they were like, I don't know if this person that I paid to do my taxes actually filed them or not. I never got anything. So I was like, well, go into your IRS account and you can look up tax years and look at a tax transcript, tax return transcript. And if it doesn't show anything there, that means it wasn't filed. You can also pull up your wage and income statements. You can pull up your record of account to see how much you actually owe for any given tax year that you have a balance due. You can make a payment arrangement. If you owe under $25,000, you can go into your IRS account and make a payment arrangement. You can make estimated tax payments there. You can make your actual tax payments there. You can look at certain letters that the IRS has sent you, and you can opt in for those letters to be emailed to you versus mailed to you. So there are just a lot of different things. If you're wondering if you got all your stimulus money or your advanced child tax credit money because you're a late filer, you can go there and it still shows that information for you. So the IRS account is free and it is invaluable. And also the state of Virginia also has a free online account where you can do similar things.
Wow, that's real powerful information. Just I actually feel like it's worth sharing the screen real quick. And so when the taxpayers actually need to get this IRS account, they can simply go to irs.gov, and then we're going to go to sign into your account.
Yes.
We're going to go into sign into your account. We would be an individual.
Correct.
And so essentially we would follow the prompts to create a new account. And
if you
then
have an ID.me account, which a lot of the veterans and military already have, it makes it so much easier. You can sign in with that. You may still have to take a picture of your ID for this just as a second verification, but you can use that same information here to
right.
start your account.
Okay, so wow, that it really seems like it's a pretty simple process that you can do. So everybody, if you want to have a little bit more visibility to what's going on related to your IRS account, you mentioned the wage and income transcripts, and that's going to be that document. What does that document actually show us, the wage and income?
So it'll show you all the income that's been reported under your Social Security number to the IRS. So Social Security, retirement, interest, certain gambling winnings, your wage information. If you're a 1099 contractor, it may show that 1099 income. If you're a business owner, it's going to show the income that you got from Square or some of those other payment processing companies. So it can be very beneficial.
Right,
But
right.
even if you pull that information, I still suggest that you get the original documents, because the IRS wage and income statements are only going to show information reported to the IRS. So any state payments withheld, anything like that is not necessarily going to show on the document, but it's a good starting point, because at least now you know who to go to get that duplicate information sent to you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, what I've told different clients of mine, you know, or potential clients, or just people in general, you haven't filed for years and you don't know where your records are. This is going to be a good starting point to be able to access what those records are. And really, you know, that you want to at least make sure that you pull that wage and income transcript, because if you file a tax return and you don't necessarily put everything that the IRS is showing, can that trigger an audit?
It can, but most likely they'll just make the adjustment for you. They'll
Right,
send you a letter saying, "Hey, we've made some changes to your tax return," and then they give you 30 days to respond. They say, "Do you agree?" And if you agree, say, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that," then you need to sign and return the letter. If you don't agree and you don't do anything, then that starts making things more difficult.
right,
So
right.
always respond.
So it's better to be proactive, right? Would you say?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and one of the other things I heard that you mentioned was earlier in our conversation is, if the IRS is sending you notice, you don't want to ignore them. You want to
Respond. Because by
respond.
not responding, you're actually forfeiting your rights as a taxpayer. So they're going to send you a couple of letters saying, "Hey, do you agree? Do you agree?" Okay, you don't respond. Now they've assessed the tax to you and penalties and interest. And then if you still don't respond, then it can lead to levies on your bank account. It can lead to garnishments on your paycheck, where they take 100% of your paycheck. It could lead to liens against your home. So you really want to respond and be as proactive as possible when dealing with the IRS.
Right, right, absolutely. And one other thing, I did a video breakdown of, I want to show this to everybody. Uh, but the IRS, they made an announcement. IRS looks to hire 3,700 employees nationwide to help expand compliance for large corporations and complex partnerships. Experienced accountants are encouraged to apply for revenue agent positions. Revenue agents, those are the examiners. So I did a whole YouTube video about the agents are coming for you. And this is September 15th, 2023. So this isn't even that long. So the
Right.
IRS, they're hiring new agents. And let's dig into this more. Let's see. They talk about these new employees will be focused on higher income and complex tax areas like partnerships, not average taxpayers making less than $400,000. So a lot of the top income earners, they're going to be more heavily scrutinized.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else did they say? They talk about just the opportunities for them hiring the new agents. This one says that, hey, you can make an annual salary up to $125,000. And the experience, people working in financial services frequently have the relevant education, experience, and skills to apply. No matter what kind of degree, the applicant could qualify if their coursework included at least 30 semester hours in accounting. So what that tells me is, hey, maybe you went to community college, got your associate's degree, you got your 30 credit hours, you top that with getting your enrolled agent designation, and if you want to work for the IRS, I mean, $125,000 to me,
That's a
that's
decent salary. But
that's a
here's the other thing. You want to, when you get an IRS letter, and let's say you don't necessarily understand it, you don't agree with it, all these new employees don't know everything yet. They're inexperienced. And I have had mistakes happen. So if you don't want to deal with the IRS yourself, you want to find somebody that you like, know, and trust to help you through the process. I had a client to get a letter saying we left off $45,000 worth of income and they had like an $8,000 tax penalty. When I went back and looked at the return that I prepared for them, and then I called the agent and I said, it's right here. They had keyed in the W-2 information wrong, the EIN number wrong. So they were thinking it was from a totally different company. They made an error. They had to reverse everything and give the client the refund that they were due. Mistakes happen.
right, right. And so is it, when we have these tax problems, do you feel we should try to, as a taxpayer, do you feel we should try to do this alone, or should we come to you? How much is it going to cost? Is it expensive? What?
It I'm never going to tell somebody to deal with the IRS on their own. I don't encourage anybody to do their own taxes. Even my high school kids, I'm like, come to me, let me help you out. I charge them like 20 bucks. It's always good to pay somebody who that's their profession. I'm not going to try to go and build my own house or even sell my own house because I don't know what I'm doing. I only know what I know. You don't know. I don't know what a professional knows. Same goes for the tax and bookkeeping world. You want to get someone who is a professional. It's worth it. I don't suggest that you deal with the IRS yourself because, again, you know very limited information and you don't have the same resources that I may have.
Right,
The
right.
cost, it depends. I
Mm-hmm.
do offer a free 15-minute consultation. If you want a 30-minute consultation, that's a $50 charge, or an hour is a $100 charge, and then we can go from there. I always do an investigation first for us to see exactly what's going on. Are the expiration deadlines coming soon? Are all the returns filed? You can't get into an installment agreement if you're not fully compliant with the IRS. And that not only goes for filings, it also goes if you're self-employed making those estimated tax payments. They want to see that you're making an effort to not continually go into debt with them. And I've even seen it where the IRS has force placed withholdings on the spouse that had a W-2 job because the spouse that was self-employed didn't do that. So that's another thing. It's hard to get around that.
Right. And so I wanna piggyback on one of the things you said, but before I piggyback, everybody remember, like the video, subscribe, and what I have on the screen is I have Miss Madison's LinkedIn profile. So we want everybody to be able to connect with her. Networking is very crucial in the business world. So connect with her. Okay. So, but
You can also go to madtaxva.com.
let's
madtaxva.com. That's my website. You can
Mad
actually
Tax
schedule VA.
EA.com. Oh,
Yes.
EA. I'm sorry.
No, VA. No, you're right.
Oh, V. Oh, okay.
There it
Is this
is.
it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
MadTaxVA.com. So everybody, go to MadTaxVA.com. Tax prep, tax resolution. Her contact information is here. You can book the appointment just by going right on to this website.
Yep.
You don't have to be alone. We have tax problem solvers that are out here to help the IRS headache go away. So everybody, make sure that you visit that website. Installment agreements. So you said we have to, did you say we have to turn our tax returns in to actually get on an installment agreement? How does that work?
Well, before you can get into an installment agreement, the IRS wants to know that you have all your taxes filed. Before
Gotcha.
you go into an offer and compromise, the IRS wants to know that you have all your taxes filed. Why
What's
are
an
they going
offer
to
and
give
compromise?
paying less than what you owe? Like
Oh, okay.
Optima tax relief. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Oh, if you owe the IRS $200,000, you can
Yeah.
qualify to pay pennies on the dollar.
And
Those commercials,
most people, when they come to me and they owe taxes, that's the first thing they say is, I want to do an offer and compromise. Well, an offer and compromise doesn't always work. And sometimes
right,
there's better options. The
right,
IRS only has a limited number of years they can collect. For instance, I had a gentleman come to me a couple of years ago. He owed over $300,000 in taxes. He came and said, I want to do an offer and compromise. I said, wait a second, let me investigate. Come to find out, about $118,000 was going to fall off of his tax bill in 30 days. So I
right,
said, let's wait. He said, why are we waiting? I said, because if the IRS doesn't contact you, this 118,000 is gone. He was
right,
like, okay. So then that happened. He said, I want to do an offer and compromise. I said, wait. I said,
wait,
you're not making the same amount of money that you were before. Let's see if we can get into a streamlined installment agreement or currently uncollectible. Guess what? We were able to get them into currently uncollectible for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, another $83,000 fell off of his tax debt. Now he's in a reasonable installment agreement. And
right.
in a couple of years, we can look at potentially doing then an offer and compromise. IRS isn't going to give you an offer and compromise if they've got 10 years to file to collect that income and your income is steadily rising and you're only 8 years into,
Like,
I
no,
mean,
you got the
2 years
money to
into the
pay
10
us.
year collection, so, and if
Right,
you don't file on time, it's not when the taxes are due, it's when you actually file and then they're assessed, which the assessment date could be 30, 60, 90 days past when you actually file.
right. So it starts when they actually process the tax return.
And assess the taxes after they've processed it, reviewed it,
Process and
and
assess.
right when they've actually assessed the tax to you. Like I said earlier, we said you might get a letter saying, hey, we've made proposed changes. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
That's them saying, hey, we're going to add something. We haven't actually assessed the tax yet, but we see this discrepancy. Do you agree or disagree? So that can extend the time. And then every time you go and ask for an installment agreement or an offer and compromise, you stop the collection clock and add time to the collection period.
Right,
So you have to be strategic in what you're offering and what you're asking the IRS for and everything. It's not just cut and dry. It's not cookie cutter. Every situation is different.
right. So there's different strategies or options that we can employ. So I think everybody, the buzzword or that everybody generally goes to is offer and compromise, where
Mm-hmm.
in some cases it's going to be other options that are available to you that's going to
Exactly.
be a better fit. So you mentioned things like currently not collectible. I just tell, when I try to explain what currently not collectible is, I tell folks, hey, this is the IRS saying we're going to temporarily leave you alone. It looks like you ain't got a lot of resources right now.
Yeah.
We'll probably leave you alone for a year, and then we're going to check back in and
Yep.
update us on what your status is. If it's still the same, we might leave you alone for another year.
And it
But
doesn't mean that the taxes go away. It doesn't mean that interest and penalties stop. It just means that the IRS isn't going to bother you for a
right,
period of time,
right,
And sometimes that them not bothering you for a period of time will mean that they lost their ability to collect and that has to fall off.
because
So,
the expiration statute time clock is still ticking.
right. Right. So that's one of my favorite statuses to get people into because making that request does not stop the clock. It
Right.
keeps it going. If you do an offer in compromise, once you submit it, the clock stops, and then it's however long it takes them to agree to or deny the offer in compromise plus 6 months. So you could be extending the time for them to collect for 18 to 24 months, because we know they're not moving fast right now.
Right, right. And what I've done with some clients is I say, hey, look, let's try to at least let's get you on that currently not collectible right now. And then if you really want to go down the offer and compromise route, let's do that secondary after we at least bought some time where they just ain't gonna be bothering us.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah. So what about partial pay? Partial pay agreements. Can you shed a little bit of light on how those work?
I I haven't had to try that for anyone
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Uh I know it's an option, but most of the people that I've incurred right now can go into an installment agreement pretty easily. Um, or I can get them in that currently uncollectible status. Um,
Right,
but yeah, I haven't had to do any partial pays yet, but that is also an option. But you have to be willing, what a lot of people don't like to do is you have to be willing to give financials. They want to know
absolutely.
that whole they want to know about your retirement, your in life insurance. They want to know how many credit cards you have, what is the value of your home, what is the value of your cars, your jewelry. So a lot of individuals don't want to give that much information
Right.
unless they're poor and like I ain't got nothing, so let's show them I ain't got nothing
Yeah,
so we can get into currently uncollectible. But those people that have the higher income, like I have a couple that I'm dealing with, their passport is seized. I
right.
said, okay, now because of how much they owe, the IRS said we need to see the financials, but they
Mm,
don't want to give the financials. I said, well, if you don't want to give the financials, then you've got to fully pay this in order to get your passport released. And guess what? They said, we're going to do it. We're going to make the payments, so.
yeah, I had a client who we were able to get them on a partial pay agreement. For everybody that's watching, a partial pay agreement is an agreement as such that based on the financial picture that we have painted, they're going to allow you to pay a certain dollar amount. However, by the time that that time clock, that collection expiration date expires, you would not have fully paid the debt that you owe to the IRS. But hey, the 10-year clock has run out, it's gone. So that's what the partial pay agreement is. So I've had one of my clients that I got them on a very nice partial pay agreement, and they're still like, yo, let's do an offer and compromise. There's no point. We
Right,
don't need to.
you're not paying the amount in full anyway. Right.
Right. Right. So and so it's worth the taxpayers that they're not the experts in this to actually come see, talk to a person like yourself or talk to a person like me, because we're going to be
Right.
able to give them, here's the
Eh,
different options. Like
right.
Kismet is going to be able to look at your financials. She's going to put them together in a way that paints the picture that needs to be painted to the IRS so
Yeah,
that
like if you got a hoopty of a car and you're showing that you got $2,000 at the end of the month, guess what? I'm going to tell you to go buy a car, because the IRS is going to allow you to have a car because you need transportation. Now we get to take that car payment against your income, reducing how much you can pay. So there are different strategies within everything that can benefit.
right, absolutely. So when do you do this training for to have the ability to be able to represent people at tax court?
I am looking to start that next year. Like I
Okay.
said, it's an 18-month course. And so I am looking at maybe the summer of next year starting that, which would take me into 2025 before I'm actually, certified, pass the test, finish taking the class because it's an 18-month class, and then take the final exam and be admitted into tax court. So that's my goal, short-term goal.
Okay, very cool. Have you ever considered getting your CTRS, Certified Tax Resolution Specialist designation?
Yeah, because I am a member of the American Society of Tax Problem Solvers. So I have thought about that and still contemplating that. I may do that as well.
The American Society of Tax Problem Solvers. We train and support tax resolution specialists. So these are the tax resolution specialists. These are the folks that fix your IRS headaches and nightmares. So I was able to pick up my CTRS in 2015. So it's pretty cool training, and it definitely helps sharpen my act. And just to become a CTRS, the prerequisite is you already have to have been either a CPA, an enrolled agent, or an attorney just to qualify to get their education and actually sit for their examination and training. So
yeah, I've been to their boot camp 2 times now. I love going to the boot camp. I've gone, I've done their trainings, their video trainings. I'm very familiar with the facilitators, Mitchell and Larry and all of them.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah, Larry's my dude. I love him.
okay, very good. And what other, matter of fact, give us three. Somebody is in trouble right now. They're in trouble. They got a lot of debt they owe to the IRS. They have these letters coming to their house. They are frustrated. They're scared. Give me three tips that
Okay.
can help them.
Number one, open your mail.
Okay.
I get clients to come to my office all the time. They've never even opened the letters. Open the letters. Number two, find somebody that you like, know, and trust to help you deal with the issue. Number three, listen to their advice. They're there to help you, not to harm you. If they say we need to fill out a full financial report, then allow them to do that. Be transparent and allow them to help you. That's it. Open
Okay, so
your mail.
one, open the mail.
Find somebody you like, know, or trust to help you. A professional, not Jimmy Bob, not your cousin next door. A professional. And then three, listen to their advice.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense to me. Kismet, anything else you want to kind of touch on? You think that is important that we haven't already covered?
No, I think we've covered a good deal. But again, don't try to do the IRS thing by yourself. Find a professional. Come to me. Come to Norfolk CPA. Get some assistance in dealing with the IRS, not only if you have IRS issues, but before you have the issues, let us help you with the tax returns or your bookkeeping. Well, I don't do bookkeeping. Norfolk CPA does bookkeeping. I stay in my lane. I like taxes.
Right.
I like taxes. So I can help you with the taxes. Norfolk CPA can help you with the bookkeeping and all that good stuff. But let professionals help you. Don't try to navigate this yourself.
Right. Well, Kismet, thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know everybody that's watching has got some great value from the nuggets that you shared today. Everybody that's watching, again, please reach out to Kismet and drop that website of yours again.
It's madtaxva.com.
All right. And everybody, please like the video, subscribe. I am Norfolk CPA, and I approve this message. Thank you, everybody.